We're back with video number 4 of Procreate Basics. My name is Jasmine. Today we'll be covering the animation capabilities of Procreate. Let's get started. To get to your animation in Procreate, you're going to go up to your action menu, which is the wrench up in your upper left hand side of your screen. You're going to go to Canvas, and then you will go to Animation Assist and toggle that on. That will bring up your toolbar for animation, and we will cover all that right now. When you start animating, you'll have frames, and that is how you get your moving picture. Your frames make up your moving picture. I'm going to add a couple frames here so you can see how it looks in the timeline. I have 3 up right now. You know which one is selected by looking at the blue line. Blue line shows which frame you have selected. I'm going to go to my first one so we can talk about everything else. Within your timeline, when you click a frame, you can see everything you can do with it. You can duplicate a frame, you can delete a frame, and you can set it as your background, but we will talk about your backgrounds in video number 5. So one thing you can do with your frame option is to hold your duration, and holding your duration is similar to duplicating. I'm gonna make a little star on this one frame here so you can see what that looks like. So if I go and select my frame and I raise my hold duration, that will add more frames to my timeline at the bottom. So there are all your frames at the bottom. I'm going to go back and remove those frames by changing my hold duration back to none. And here is my first frame. Within Procreate, you can also see your onion skins. And an onion skin is an animation technique where you can see multiple frames at once. And we will show this more visually once I get into more animating. But you get to your onion frames by going to settings, and at the bottom you can see onion frames, how many frames you'll see at once with onion frames, and also your onion skin opacity. Also under your settings are your playback speed and your playback type. So there's loop, ping pong, and one shot, and we'll go through each of those as we go. We're gonna start with loop, and I will just get into that right now. So I have 3 frames, as you can see. You can already see how the onion skin is working, but I'm gonna delete these because I want to duplicate my first layer. So I have my star here. I'm gonna make sure that my lines are all closed so that whenever I fill my colors, that my colors don't bleed outside of my shape here. Here I have a star. Undo. This is my first frame. I'm making sure that all of my shapes are closed. I think we're pretty good. We are going to click our frame number 1 and we're going to duplicate it. And when you go up to your layers on your upper right side of your screen, you will see that your frames are now your layers. So they work similarly in that way. I'm going to start coloring my frames so that we can see what the loop animation looks like. I'm going to use a few different colors for this. And just like with the normal illustration that you can do with Procreate, you can do with animation. So I'm going to drag and drop my color, hit continue filling, so I can just click these shapes to fill them. Moving on to my next color. I'll do one more color. This is my frame number 1. So now I'm gonna go to my frame number 2. You can see how the onion skin kind of works. Your layer 1 still shows underneath, but it still has some transparency to it. I'm gonna make my onion skin opacity a little bit lower. Maybe a little bit higher. And you can still see the color underneath when I'm on my second frame. So now I can kind of see what colors I've used before So now I can see what colors I've used before and still work on my frame number 2 without duplicating the same colors on the same parts of my shapes. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to color my shapes, trying to switch it up so I don't use the same colors in the same areas. Going to my second color. Going to my third color. All right. And these are my 2 layers that I have here, my 2 frames. This is what they look like. And then to play it back, you go to your settings and you can either loop, ping pong, one shot, but for this one, again, we're gonna do loop. You can change your frames per second too, which basically shows how fast your animation is going to be. The lower it is, the slower your animation is going to be, and the higher frames per second, the faster it's going to be. I'm going to set mine around 10 so we can see what that looks like. And then to play it back, you just hit play, and this is what that looks like right now. It looks pretty good, but I want it to be a little bit slower, so I'm going to go back to my settings, go to my frames per second, and I'm going to lower that number so it can be a little bit slower. I'm going to set it at 3, playing it, and this is what it looks like now. Again, that was the loop playback. And to go to our other types of playback, I'm going to do a different animation. Now let's make a slightly more complex example using the ping pong playback. I am reset here in Procreate. I am on my first frame, and we're going to do kind of a bouncing ball animation. So I'm on frame 1. Again, I'm going to start with just a rough circle, add another frame. And just keep making my circles here to show my ball bouncing. This is also, as you can see, how my onion skins are working. This is another example of how your onion skins can work. You can kind of see that I have a train happening here. I'm going to move my onion skin opacity a little bit lower. I'm gonna raise my frames per second to 7. I'm gonna make sure that I'm in my ping pong playback, and we're gonna see how this looks. I'm gonna hit play. This is what it looks like. You can see that it's going back and forth. It doesn't make a full loop around. It goes back and forth like a ping pong. And I think that looks pretty good. For our last playback technique, we'll be using the one shot. So let's get into that. Once again, I have reset and Procreate. I am on frame number 1. It is blank. I'm going to change my pen here. I'm going to use my 6B pencil. It looks like this. And I'm going to do kind of like an eye closing technique for our one shot. So I'm frame number 1, once again. And just do a sketched out eye, really rough, really messy. I like how this looks with our one shot. This is frame number 1. Gonna add a frame. You can still see via my onion skin, my frame number 1. So I'm kind of gonna go over that and show layer number 2 with a slightly more closed lid on my eye. Frame number 3. I'm gonna lower the lid even more. Frame number 4 is almost closed. And then our last frame will have a closed eye. I'm gonna check my settings. I am on 1 shot. I'm gonna make my frames per second 5 and see how that looks. And we are going to play back. And that is what a 1 shot looks like. This has been Procreate Basics. My name is Jasmine. Thank you for joining us. In our next video, we'll be covering more animation capabilities within Procreate. Thank you to Project 3810 for letting us use your space, and thank you to Arts Council OKC for making this happen.